Hey, Tommy. I'm gonna spill the beans on what I've been thinking about Weevil recently. I asked you, you said that you felt that like Oda kind of forgot about him. And I also asked Callista, and Callista had said that he feels like a dinky, funky fellow, but not her favorite, which both fair opinions to have about this guy. He was a former warlord of the sea, recently disbanded. He is the self proclaimed son, biological son, of Edward Newgate, the Emperor, who is famous for his adoptiveness of other people, right? So him having a biological son is that's a unique case. And his mother, Miss Buckingham Stussy, was also a member of the Rocks crew along with Whitebeard. So it is possible that they were lovers at some point, but it's kind of up in the air because a lot of the members of the Whitebeard crew are like, "Who is this guy? We don't know him." Pops doesn't have sex. Like he doesn't have a kid. So with his warlord title, Edward Weevil was running around the Grand Line, chasing after the former Whitebeard pirates to try to acquire the fortune that he supposedly had, that Miss Buckingham Stussy, his mother, is manipulating him to try and find, because they are convinced that Edward Newgate had some vast wealth and fortune. But as we all know, as the reader, that Edward's treasure was his family. He doesn't have like a physical gold stash somewhere. It was the family that meant the most to him. In chapter 1073, we follow Marco as he's leaving Wano. He says goodbye to the Straw Hats, and he tells them that like he's got to ride to Sphinx Island with Shanks. He says he's got to ride home. And, he's the protector of Sphinx. It's Edward Newgate's, Whitebeard's home island, right? And he feels the debt to protect it for him, which is a very nice thing to do. But he left for Wano, so now he's got to go back. Upon his return, the residents fill him in on the story of how some Navy people showed up. I believe his name is Rattle, their leader. He's a rat man. And he's threatening to kill kids. He tells them that Sphinx is not a government island. They don't pay the heavenly tribute, so the government doesn't care if he kills a few kids. Like crazy, right? So Marco's gone. He can't be there to help. So Edward Weevil jumps in and he dispels the Marines, right? Great on him. He's like, this is my pappy's land. This is my father's hometown. I'm gonna protect it. Currently he's 1-0 at protecting it. So then Marco's like, yo, where is this guy? What happened to him? I don't see him around. And then Miss Buckingham Stussy says, she tells him, she pops out of somewhere and is like, hey, Admiral Greenbull took him. So, 1-1. That's an even ratio for Edward Weevil. Granted, it was an admiral that got him. So that got me thinking. I just made a video about King where I mentioned Greenbull a lot. And I'm connecting some dots here that I'm hoping should be connected. So we know that King and Queen are in Greenbull's possession, because after he sucked the life out of him, he called his Marine lackeys and was like, yo, come pick him up. We're going to take him somewhere. And we know that Elbaf, Winter Island, Sphinx, and Wano are all relatively close to each other. So I don't find it inconceivable that Greenbull could have also picked up Weevil, either before or after. I'm not too clear on the timeline. If somebody wants to correct me, go for it. But he was definitely within the area and could have done so. Maybe that rat guy was the vice admiral that Greenbull keeps around. Maybe. They're both evil. They're both terrible people. So I think this could be set up for a potential mini arc. Hear me out. Weevil, King, and Queen are all in prison, right? And I feel like all three of these characters have a future role to play in the story. We know how I feel about King. Queen, meet up with Neomads, join them, cause some havoc, because they all hate Vegapunk. Queen probably still hates Vegapunk, and hearing about this message, he's gonna be like that fucking guy. I'm gonna spite him somehow. I'm gonna have to make something, and it's gonna be epic, right? And then we got Weevil. Weevil's there. How's that? Who is this guy, right? I don't know. Marco could show up because Miss Buckingham Stussy she was like demanding that Marco go help him, right? So Marco could show up. Marco could help them out, or they bust out on their own, and then they go their separate ways. We know that the question needs to be answered of is Edward Weevil really Edward Newgate's son, and are Miss Buckingham Stussy and Edward Newgate actually lovers? It's kind of a low stakes question. Like, we don't really need an answer. It could just be up in the air. But it'd be nice to have one, right? Did the man who adopted so many sons actually have one? What would that mean for his character? I'm unsure. Or I could be just blowing smoke right now. It could just be that Oda needed an excuse to get Edward Weevil out of the story. He's like, oh, dude, this guy, I got no plans for him. Let's just throw him in prison, because we didn't see him during Vegapunk's message. So that could just be him and his mother's exit from the story. I doubt it. Oda loves to bring people back around, So, let me know your thoughts on this. I'm in the camp of like I'd love a mini arc or like a cover series, but let me know how you feel. Whether you think I'm blowing smoke or not. Bye.